touched on briefly, you made a mention of cult-like practices. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. There's sort of only a limited number of ways of breaking people down, and cults and actually the CIA with the let's not even go there, but a lot of different organizations that want to change people's behavior have converged on certain techniques. And these include sleep deprivation, food deprivation, sensory deprivation, confrontational attacks, complete isolation, and physical stress positions, overexercise, making sure that your mind is completely occupied all the time. One of the best summaries of these techniques Robert J. Lifton came up with regarding North Korean brainwashing a long time ago, but his categories are seen, every single one of these programs uses all of the different categories that he identified as thought reform. And so when you see something that's combining this stuff as a way of behavior modification, you know that it's not therapeutic. It is actually thought reform. And it's important to realize that, because a lot of people, and what Kat was saying before about Stockholm Syndrome is really critical, because although these programs don't actually work very well to solve the problems they're meant to solve, they do work pretty well at creating converts who will say, this was the only thing that could have saved me. And there's a ton of psychology research which shows that if you, the more you make somebody pay, the more you hurt somebody, the more they believe that that experience was valuable to them, because they don't want to be seen like a sucker. So it's like, obviously I paid $5,000 for that dinner, so it must have been good. Obviously I went through all this crying and tears and pain, and that suffering must mean something. And suffering does mean something, but just because you might learn something in a concentration camp doesn't mean we set up concentration camps to help people.
Let's take one last question, then we'll do it informally after that. Yes?
Just a quick piggyback off of her question. Since Phil had mentioned that this comes down to kind of a challenge of language, that using the same terms and co-opting different terms, the public and the media seem to be very concerned with the idea of a cult. That, the cult comes up, they jump on it immediately. Have you seen, Maya, any success with the media in trying to use that terminology and getting them to accept it and take it more seriously and present it in a different light than as, one group says this treatment's working, one group says the treatment's not, but painting it in a different light?
Yeah, unfortunately, actually, though, once you start using the word cult, people start to think you're crazy. And so it's a double-edged sword on that with the media. The media has been completely wrong and completely asleep on the job on this, as they have been with so many things, unfortunately, recently. And they really, this sort of fake idea of balance that you do side A versus side B, and if 99.9% of climate scientists say that global climate change is human caused, we have to give that 1% equal coverage. Well, that's not equal anymore. And that's what we've done with the coverage of these programs. I think it is important to let people know that, because a lot of people just think, oh, these abuses are, they just happen from your odd bad staff, the bad apple, that they're, that people need to understand that they are systematic, and the cult stuff can be useful in that, but it's complicated with the media for the crazy reason.
We appreciate your attendance. Now we need your help. We need your assistance in putting a stop to what you have heard described. We need your assistance in educating people, in making sure that there's a proper regulations, that there is a transparency in systems. So please give it your best thought about how you individually, how you within your community, your organization can contribute. Please give your best thought to how we can be of help to you in your efforts and how we can all work together on this. Thank you very much for coming, and we invite you to come up informally if you like.